chocolate or raspberry souffle?
It doesn't matter. The
I'll just make raspberry.
Actually, I prefer chocolate.
Well, chocolate it is. Now, why don't I mix you up a little cocktail and you can take a nap before dinner?
A nap would be nice. Can I still have the pudding cup?
Okay, but just one. I don't want you spoiling your appetite before dinner.
Thank you.
What?
Oh, you're a funny mix. Something real smooth and easy and kind of, I don't know, awkward like a little kid.
It is a great pleasure that today on Cinema Confidential we are at the house of Josie Davis. I'm not just gonna call her an actress because you have a lot of professions.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Gia as well in our company today.
Not that you see her face.
Hello! And we have also Snow. Snow?
Oh, she's
Hi,
there?
Snow, she's there!
Come here. Hi, Snowy. Come here.
So we have a lot of ladies in the house today. Hey.
I only have two cats. If you have three, you're a cat lady. Two you get away with.
Let's start with the acting. First
Yeah.
of all, you're a California native.
Mm-hmm.
So was acting always the plan?
Yeah, I was 3 years old when my dad was running a TV show that my brother was in. I was 3, and he said, "Do you want to do that?" And I said, "Okay." I mean, what else was I gonna? I thought he wanted me to say yes, so I said, "Okay." And I did my first commercial at 4. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so scared, and I was supposed to make an entrance, and I just said, "Can you push me in? Because I don't know when to go." And I was really nervous, and this man just pushed me when to enter.
Oh my God.
And then I was on a show called Charles in Charge with Scott Baio, and I did that until I was, that was my first TV show, first actual acting job, and it was a series. So they made me audition 11 times to prove myself. So I did, we ended up doing 104 episodes. Even though I was on that show, I didn't realize that acting was for me. I wanted to write. I wanted to be a screenwriter and go to USC. My parents didn't have money saved up for me to go to college. And so I thought, well, I have money from a series, but I don't want to be a child actor who ends up never working again. You hear about this, and then they're poor. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna transfer from eventually like go to junior college because it's cheaper, and then spend my money on when I actually transfer to USC. So that was my plan for screenwriting. But I fell in love with acting once I started studying with an amazing acting teacher that my dad introduced me to, a man, and it was after I saw the movie that James Dean was in, East of Eden. That literally made me want to act.
Well, no harm done. If you must play with them, please remember, it's Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
Okay.
Donner, Blitzen, Donner, Blitzen, Donner, Blitzen.
Got it.
Sing it!
Donner Blitzen.
Okay then. The little drummer boy.
Another character that you play, and it's hilarious in my opinion, is Sandy on 2.5 Men.
Yeah, a lot of people. Thank you.
It's really funny. I mean, Sandy's a total wacko.
Yeah.
I helped you earlier as well. Tell me more about that experience. How did you get on the show?
Right before 2.5 Men, I wasn't auditioning, and I said, I've got to do something. No one even knows that I'm good. Like, I really need to get out there. How do I do this? I don't have an agent or manager to do it. So this is when we still had VHS cassette.
Yeah.
And I had my demo reel on there, and I sent it because I read in Variety, which I'm not even a big reader of Variety, but I read it. It said, Chuck, Lorre are on 2.5 Men. I think it was like they got picked up for a 3rd season, I think is what it was. And I said, oh my God, I recognize the other guy whose name I'm forgetting, so sorry. Suddenly, his partner, right? I I saw his picture and I said, wait a minute, when I was little, I remember he wrote on Charles in Charge in maybe the pilot or near the beginning, they wrote an episode, I think, or a couple, because I recognized that man. I remember looking up thinking he was this big man. And I remember him. So I sent Lee, his name is Lee, and I sent him my demo reel and said, could I please audition for your show? And we did Charles in Charge together. Do you remember? Well, he actually saw it and brought me in. And I auditioned with a wig, and I thought I was trying all these crazy characters, and I was trying different wigs and stuff. And they were loving what I was doing. And finally, I think I went back for two different roles. And then this one, they brought me in for the big role. This was a role, if you remember, it looked like I was gonna be a series regular. It was a it was a major guest star.
Yes.
And Chuck later said, you know, I rarely let, not no name, but you know, not like huge names come in and audition for big roles like that. But he said, I just wanted to open it up for a couple of auditions before we made an offer to somebody famous. And he said, I was the first one in. He goes, as soon as you came in, I said, nobody else can play this like this. That's it.
And how was it working with John Cryer and Charlie Sheen?
They were very nice. There wasn't much socializing. It was all work. I mean, I had so much, there was no time. It was just very quick. It was so quick.
Filling in for Mrs. Cohen for the rest of the year. Why don't you see me after school?
Josie has over 75 credits in her filmography, among which the hit TV shows Baywatch, Beverly Hills 90210, CSI New York, Bones, The Mentalist, and many others on the big and the small screen.
With whomever he's been lying to me.
What is a project that you perhaps are working on or that is in the pipeline?
Well, I'm brand new at producing. So I'm excited I do a lot of, I didn't mean for this to happen, but I became what they're calling a lifetime queen, a queen of lifetime. They have Josie Davis marathons for a lot of Lifetime movies, and that's where I actually get to do the work I want to do, and no one tells me really what to do, and it's really freeing and fun to just do whatever character I want and to be as nuts as I want, and crazy characters are really fun. I want to produce my own Lifetime movie, so a friend and I both came up with this idea, and he wrote it, and then I gave him notes, and we've kind of gone over and made some changes, and so I'm producing that for Lifetime. Not that Lifetime's necessarily going to produce it, but it'll be shot as an indie. And then, so I'm trying to get financing, and then hopefully they'll buy it.
And you do a lot of things with animals.
I got them at the shelter. Yeah, I don't do as much as I would like. I do now just some online trying to find homes for animals. But I used to go in South Central Los Angeles. That's where the two are from here. Yeah, I saved this one when she was 3. Most of them, you know, most people want kittens.
Yeah.
But she was 3 years old and she was amazing. I mean, I was taking care of like crates of like 50 cats every time I'd go. I went through each cage. It took 5 hours to go through all their cages and make sure they have water and food and a blanket. And then little Snow was in a huge cage and she was this big and she was so scared. I introduced Snow to Gia and they tumbled around and ran around the place.
Why do you like living in LA? And is it possible to have real relationships and friendships here?
Oh God. I only know LA. I've only lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I think New York has always kind of been calling my name just to see, but I've never actually, you know, moved there or anything. And I am going to be going to France and Italy. But I mean, I don't know any other place to live. Obviously, the weather's fantastic. It's all I really totally know, but I don't take it for granted. I don't know. And in friendships and relationships, well, I'm single, very, and all I do is hear from people who aren't from LA, who don't live here. They say you would be married in a second if you didn't live in LA. The fact that you live in LA, good luck. I have a girlfriend that just got married, an acquaintance who just got married, and she had said, move to San Francisco, that's what I did. And I mean, I can't move to San Francisco. Like, I'm not gonna just move to try and meet a man, right?
Yeah,
and I'm trying to do my career here, and I live here, and I'm hoping that maybe there's one out here that I'll meet. It only takes one. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Josie.
Well, thank you.
See you once.
I wish all my tenants were as reliable as you, Madame Joe.
How is the Comtesse enjoying Italy?
She may be extending her trip.
I'm very pleased that today on Cinema Confidential we have a guest, a lady who has many, many talents. So I say welcome to Helene Cardona.
Thank
Hi.
you. Hi.
You do have a lot of talents. You speak a lot of languages. You do so many things that I am not sure where to begin. But let's begin with your background.
Okay. Yes.
It's very interesting. It's a mixture of cultures, mixture of languages. Tell me more about that.
Well, I was born in Paris, so I'm French born and raised there. My father's from Spain, my mom's from Greece. We moved to Geneva pretty soon, so I was raised in Switzerland as well, and Monte Carlo for a year.
That's not bad.
And then back to Paris for high school, and then I went to study in England, in Cambridge, and in Germany as well. I had a fellowship there.
So could we say that literature is actually your first love before acting?
Well, I had several first loves because when I was in the music conservatory in Geneva, I was studying piano and dance, and I had been interested in acting all along. I basically decided to give up everything in Europe and move to New York and pursue acting and do it while I could.
Your first big job that you booked?
I started doing theater. And I worked at the Actors Studio and with a company called the Naked Angels Theater Company and Ubu Theater Rep, and at the Players Club too. I did a play there, and really how I started earning money was through voiceovers. So that's where I started that and using my voice. And my first job was on a soap.
The voiceover job, I'm really fascinated. Always I've found it very, very interesting because, you know, when you're watching an actor on the screen, you can see the movements, you can see everything.
Yeah.
When it's voiceover, you have to see all of that without seeing the person.
Right.
So I think it's so much fun to do that.
It's very
and
fun.
Probably exhausting as well.
It's very physical.
Yeah.
Actually, you have to move around and you have to embody the character physically, so it comes out right in the voice. And if there's effort, and you know, it all has to be in there. But it's a lot of fun. It's very freeing as well, you know.
Yeah. You've done characters on some really great animations. Happy Feet, for
Happy
example.
Feet 2, The Muppets,
Yeah.
Muppets Most Wanted. It was just, it was a lot of fun.
Do you do also different accents?
I do accents and I use all my languages, so all 6 of them. English,
so cool.
French, Spanish, German, Italian and Greek.
Sophie, I'm so sorry, but I have to break the appointment.
Something wrong?
No, I volunteered to distribute these. I promised the Count I'd have them out by the end of the day.
Count me in. Not that I expect any of them to stop by for a hairstyle.
You've also been on one of my favorite movies of all times, Chocolat.
Yeah, that was great.
How was that experience? Please tell me a little bit more.
It was just so magical. It just happened. You know, like you can work so hard looking for work, you know, until something comes your way. And what happened is I had auditioned for Lasse Hallström, the director, for the previous movie, The Cider House Rules, and I didn't get the job. And then I ran into him when he was in Los Angeles at a screening of it. I went to a screening and then he said, "Oh, there's something in Chocolat for you." And I was like, you know, and so it was just a gift all along. It starts at the top, right? So she's just a wonderful person and director, and everybody.
I love his work.
We shot in France, we shot in England. We started in London with costumes and before we started shooting, and then in the village. And then, so that was lovely because it was the real deal, the real village. And then back to England in the West Country to match the French exteriors by the river. And everybody was just so great. We were in Bath. It was almost a dream, you know. I was just thinking the whole time that I really hope something like that comes around again, because it just, it couldn't have been better. There was, everybody was treated the same.
Yeah.
We were all like in similar trailers. There was not much of a hierarchy at all, and everybody got along great. The chocolate was good.
Well, I think that's kind of what the actual story also brings, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it has so much serenity in it and so much magic.
Yeah.
Even in the book as well.
Yeah, Joanne Harris's book is just wonderful.
Yeah.
The ending is a bit darker, and so they changed that. It works though.
As they do often.
They do often, as they do.
Rose, I tried calling you. I left you a message. I'll mail you your last check. Bye. C'est une dévastation totale.
Helene has worked with Lasse Hallström on one of his next films, The 100-Foot Journey, and she is also the voice of a number of popular TV and film titles. Among her latest projects are voiceovers in Adam Sandler's Murder Mystery and a few films on Dante directed by Boris Acosta. The actress and poet writes and publishes poems as well as doing translations from many languages, including her father's books. She's working on a screenplay, Primate, with her partner John Fitzgerald, based on his book.
So when did you actually move to LA after living in New York?
Well, I was 8 years in New York, and something, very strange happened. I wasn't planning on moving to LA, I wanted to move to New York. That was a very conscious choice, but I was very at home in New York. I love New York. My mom passed away, and all of a sudden, I just needed a change, all of a sudden, just like that. And I came to LA to check it out. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay, and I stayed. Because once you're here, it takes a while to adapt, because New York's a city where you can walk everywhere. It's easy to get together and meet people. There's so much culture.
Here you cannot walk anywhere.
No, and you're very isolated at first. But then it's a much softer way of life, because you're surrounded by nature. I mean, here we have the ocean, it's just so great, and the mountains, and
we are actually looking at
trees
the ocean right now.
Yeah.
You are in such a commercial business, yet the stories and the topics that you often work on are not commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think that was really possible, but there you go. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I like everything. I mean, I'd like to do more commercial projects as well, but I like to be involved. Some of the projects are just labors of love, basically. I'd like to achieve a lot more than I have, but at least I know that I'm doing what I love, and I think that keeps me going.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.